after you take a profile, your profiles will be automatically synced to your phone and will display in this list view here. We group profiles together based on time and location to include profiles that were taken at the same time and same location in what we call a profile group. The idea behind this is to group together profiles that would represent a single spot in time and space, similar to a snow pit. For example, Emma3 Windrift here shows 3 different profiles that I took at the same time and location, and I can see all 3 by tapping down on this little down arrow over here. If I want to see this on a larger view, I can tap the profile and it'll bring up a bigger view. So this is showing a plot of depth versus hand hardness equivalent for this snow profile I created. If I want to change some settings, if I'm more used to looking at profiles from the right of the screen, I can do that. Come in this menu, I can change depth versus height on this scale. I can also do that by tapping on the side on the depth versus height scale over here. And then I can also change from units of hand hardness to kPAs. All the data is actually saved in kPa values, so if you export your data, you'll see it in that kPa. The hand hardness has been calibrated to match professional hand hardness pits as well as possible, but there's always variations obviously due to human factors and how people associate different hand hardnesses with actual kPa values. Another thing you can do from this profile screen is you can change the hardness resolution of this profile. So right now in the fine detail view, we see 1 point of hardness per millimeter of depth. And this shows lots of little spikes due to small variations in the hardness of the snowpack. Most of the spikes, depending on your application, don't matter. So it can be nice to take this slider down here and slide it back and forth to view your snow profile in a more smoothed view. And this algorithm is designed to try to preserve large spikes or large weak layers in the snowpack, so you won't miss those, and only smooth out the minor fluctuations. But of course, you should always slide this back and forth if you're really concerned about a weak layer or something. There's a chance that it might suppress a weak layer if you have it on the smooth side. So be a little bit careful if you leave this setting too smooth. Another thing you can see on this view is your multiple profiles that were taken at that same time and location on the bottom here. There's a couple things I can do with these. If I want to overlay these profiles on top of each other, just to see how consistent my measurements are, I can tap on each one and it will overlay. If I want to change which profile is highlighted in yellow here, and this highlighted profile is what other users will see if your profile is public, and what you'll see from the main view. If you long press on a profile, that will change it to the selected one. And finally, if I see that one of these profiles doesn't quite really match, or maybe I took a profile and probed strange, or I hit a tree branch or something like that, I can delete it by double tapping on it. So I'm going to delete test number 43 down here, double tap, and confirm, and that one will be deleted. And if you forget any of that, you can click this nearby profiles question mark and it will remind you of what those different actions are. Finally, last things you can do on this profile screen, you can decide to delete your whole profile group. I'm not going to do that right now. By hitting that trash can, you can see who created it. This one was me. And you can also change your profile name up here. Usually I like to do that for a specific location name that I'm going to remember, but you can name these however you want. In addition to viewing your profiles in the chronological list view, you can view them in a map view by clicking on the map in the top right. This map will operate like any normal map view in any phone application. You'll see a variety of dots, some with numbers in them and some without. Dots with numbers in them indicate that there's multiple profile groups in a similar location. The dots without numbers mean that there's one profile group. If I click in one without a number, I'll see a profile, and if I want to view that in more detail, I just tap on it, and I get the full profile view. with all the normal controls. If I click on a group with some numbers, I'll see multiple groups on the bottom bar here, and I can choose the one I want to see in a larger view if I want to do that. In addition to, since this will show all the profile groups in a certain area, if I want to kind of narrow that down, I can click on the filters in the top right. I can sort on who created those profiles. I can sort on when they were created. So let's say I want to look in the last week, and I can sort on elevation and aspect as well. So going to the last week, you can see that I only have these two profiles now created in the last week.